Oh, tell me if you've heard this one before. The Huskers lose a close one at home. Close. Win.
You are Locked On Huskers, your daily podcast on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey gang, DP here, Locked On Huskers. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen on a Monday. Greatly appreciate you spending time with me here on Locked On Huskers. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. I'll hold for you to click the button and get this content each and every single day before we get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. A 13-10 loss to Maryland. Matt Rhule talked about his quarterbacks today. And then some accountability. Before we get into all that, super producer Rico, let him know about Gametime.
Thanks, DP. Buying tickets online shouldn't be as difficult as it is nowadays. Whether you're trying to go to a sporting event, a comedy show, or a theater event, when you go online to buy tickets, you shouldn't have to pay as much or not have as much accessibility as you do nowadays. Well, that's where Gametime comes in. Download the Gametime app or go to gametime.co and you can get yourself last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. It's the easiest place to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. View seats from all over the venue. You'll get the lowest prices guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front, so you know what you're getting and you know how great the deal is without the hidden fees. Buy your tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Back to you, DP.
Thank you, kind sir. Greatly appreciate it. And again, lots to get through in this episode. One, the recap. Good, bad, and ugly. Lots to talk about. Those are easy. The difficult thing happens because in this morning's press conference, Matt Rhule took to the podium and question one, issue one, priority one, focus one. Quarterback position, and the update is as follows: that Shepard Purdy pretty beat up for somebody that hadn't been playing. He took some shots in that 11-play, 90-yard drive to end the game. He was already banged up to begin with a groin issue, so he's not at 100%. Heinrich Haarberg, pretty beat up. The high ankle sprain. He's pretty beat up today. And they'll see how he is tomorrow. But as of today, I would imagine if they were going to go today that he probably would not have been available. Which means that the healthiest of all the quarterbacks, at least of the 3 that are in discussion, is Jeff Sims. And if you're inside of Husker Nation, nothing makes you stop, pause, and sip your coffee more than the thought and conversation that is required when talking about Jeff Sims in the quarterback position at the University of Nebraska. Look, unprecedented levels of turnovers leading the nation. And look, this is not turnovers at the quarterback position. This is not a Jeff Sims issue alone. Heinrich Haarberg leads the country in fumbles at the quarterback position. So that's people who run the option in full. The turnovers are there in full. And Jeff Sims, coming in and giving up 2 turnovers. And then, of course, Shepard Purdy almost being heroic, looking as though he would ride in on a strong horse named Husker and was going to lead Nebraska to victory until the drive. And it's not just the drive, it is the thinking, logic, execution of said drive. 11 plays, 90 yards, 6 minutes plus in time of possession during a tie game at home, Memorial Stadium, with bowl eligibility on the line. There's so much soup in play, and trying to get answers is probably unlikely. I think the idea is more to ask the right questions, because chasing answers in this thing would be more like trying to eat soup with a fork. Frustrating, little payoff, and no real clarity. But when Matt Rhule was asked about the quarterback position, bringing up those things specific to say, we don't know. We'll have to address it tomorrow. We'll have to reconsider tomorrow, because Harburg is injured. Chubba Purdy is beat up. Jeff Sims is healthy. Listen, there's Nebraska fans, we all need to hug each other. Let's get in a Husker circle and just pat each other on the back, and they're there. It'll be okay, Husker. It will be okay. That being said, listen, a big part of the conversation today is accountability, and Matt Rhule placing the blame, the focus, the accountability all directly on his shoulders and on his back. If there's something wrong with this program, he wants the blame, focus, and attention placed on him, which is ideal leadership. Except it doesn't answer the question. What can be done and who will be responsible for it in changing to make sure that Nebraska is better next Saturday in Camp Randall than they were last Saturday at Memorial? Now, his answer would be, if you asked the question, and the question was bandied about, but yeah, Matt Rhule said he's responsible for getting this team better, putting them in better situations, making sure that they have the reps and that they practice all the things that came up. And quite frankly, he said today that everything that was required of this team to win on Saturday, they had prepared for. Now, maybe they had not prepared enough. Maybe there weren't enough repetition. Maybe there weren't clarity in what the expectations were, and understanding what was seen and understanding what was needed to be done. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to dive into the last drive. And I'm going to start at a place that maybe folks had missed, but I'm going to start at one particular play. And then I'm going to go through this drive so that we can wrap our brains around what this thing was on Saturday. I've said this far too much over the course of Locked on Huskers. Missed opportunity. This team and this program is just up to the waist in missed opportunities. And at some point, the opportunities have to become, the losses have to become lessons. You have to learn from it and get better from it. That's why you learn. That's why you go through the lessons. That's why mistakes are allowed to happen, because it causes you, through that friction, to get better, to change your location and your elevation so that you can go forward and up. You have to get better from your losses. You have to be smarter from your lessons. And the drive asks a lot of questions. Improving requires that you embrace the friction to get more information and more experience. Nebraska football has an opportunity that, if it looks at itself and the final 3 plays of the drive, by counting the previous plays to that drive, Nebraska will get more answers about who they are and what they want to be, but more importantly, what they need to beat Wisconsin in Camp Randall. I'm DP, Locked On Huskers. We'll be right back. Hey, gang, DP here, Locked On Huskers. Again, thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen. You can follow on social media. Gives you better access if that's what you want. You can put your comments down in the comment section as well. Greatly appreciate you. Before we get into The Drive. The Drive, and we got to, sometimes the drive usually means something bad happened. Just ask Denver. Just ask Cleveland. But before we get into that, Rico, super producer, kind sir, let him know about Jase Medical.
Thanks, DP. We spend a lot of time talking together, you and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts, who sits. I'm thankful for that connection we have. And today, I want our chat to be a little more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply on ED medications. You realize what that means? Bring on extended travel. Bring on the next natural disaster or supply chain issue. You are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Revatio prescription. And this is possible because of our friends at Jase Medical. Go online right now at jasemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jase. I'm thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut pills in half to have it. I order most of my daily meds with a year's supply. I also ordered an antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies. I highly recommend this for everyone. If you or someone you love would get some peace of mind by having a year's supply of any daily med, go to jasemedical.com and see if it's offered for you. Remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. Back to you, DP.
Thank you, kind sir. And again, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And to be clear, in putting these episodes together, while I have opinions, I try not to have or to reach a place where I feel like I have to have all the answers. We don't have the answers. We weren't in the coach's booth. We weren't at practice last week. We weren't on the headphones to hear the conversations that took place. We weren't in the huddle to know what was said and what the plan was. We weren't at practice to see how this was repped, how many repetitions and what the success level was for all of these things. But the plays that were in play certainly deserved some discussion. So let's get into this thing, shall we? Let's get into this. I want to start with this because the drive as it started literally looked like, with the score 10-10, that Maryland got the ball with 12 and a half minutes left, and they went pretty quickly downfield. But there was a fumble as Maryland had 1st and 10 at their 14-yard line. And Hemby rushed for 3 yards. On 2nd and 7 from the Nebraska 11, Hemby went up the middle, 8 yards, and could have gone to the ground with a chance for Maryland to be 1st and goal inside their 5. Instead, a playmaker made a great defensive play. And I want to shout out Buddha Wright, Javen Wright, because he kept playing until the finish of the play and rocket launched himself into Hemby, jarring the ball loose. And then, quite frankly, at the bottom of the pile, actually, Tyrone Robinson wasn't even at the bottom of the pile. He was still in a prone position. But then Polar Bear dove into frozen water and sought out a loose football, and because of all that max-level strength that he has, the joke is that he's the strength of 10 men. Yes, he went in, got his paws on the football, and pulled it to his belly. Nebraska takes over at their own 5 with 9 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock. Big exhale. Shout out to the black shirts. Shout out to the Nebraska defense. And quite frankly, Javen Wright needs a black shirt, but hey. But Nebraska gets the ball at its own 3. First play, Emmett Johnson off the left side for 2 yards gain. 2nd and 8, clock running. And Chubba Purdy pulls, goes for a keeper, rushes for 13 yards to the right sideline. The crowd goes crazy. Productive play for a guy that's supposed to have an injured, groin. But go make plays, Chubba Purdy. Why don't you? Okay, so it's 1st and 10. Nebraska 18. No huddle. And I want to stay in this. They were in a shotgun for the entire drive. Clock's running. Emmett Johnson rushed to the middle for 2 yards. 2nd and 8. Emmett Johnson up the middle again for 8 yards. Sometimes you play call to set up the next thing. And Barham was the linebacker who filled gap and made the play on both of those Johnson runs. But then you immediately throw. Purdy goes on a short left pass to Kemp, who breaks a tackle, goes for 24 yards, all the way up to Nebraska's 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Clock still running, no huddle. Purdy runs for 9. Goes out of bounds. Emmett Johnson then rushes right for 29 yards on his best run of the day. Takes the ball all the way down from the 45 of Michigan to the 16 of Maryland. Huskers aren't done. They're not done. Purdy rushes for 11. Great finish. Great finish on the run. Takes it to the Maryland 5. 1st and goal, Maryland 5. This is where it just went wrong. Now, Purdy was credited for an incomplete pass to Fedoni, but the reality is the read should be, and I'm just going to speak on it, based on down and distance formation, that it should have been, the play should be run at its base level, which is Emmett Johnson running up the middle. Purdy pulled it, got outside, had pressure, 2 defenders in his space, so he threw it away, which is the right thing to do after the wrong thing to do, which is simply hand the ball to your running back and let him get plus yardage from the 3-yard line. Clock would still be running as well. All of that in play. Play number 2. And this is – there was some chaos on 2nd and goal from the Maryland 5 because Bunyan gets one-on-one with Scott, gets the win. He actually shot a gap because he had another linebacker that was filling space. But that's okay. Even if you do not gain yardage on this, you gained information on how Maryland's going to slant and defend. So it's 3rd and goal. Clock's under 4 minutes. 3rd and goal, 10-10 game at home. 10-10 game. Most coaching rooms that I've been in will tell you that what we need to do at all costs is to protect the football. If a play is not there, don't force. If you're not absolute in delivering the ball, if you're going to throw, if it's not there, it's a tight window, throw it away. We'll take the 3 points and move along, especially with this great defense that we've had. We've held Maryland 10 points. Don't give the ball away. Literally the first thing that goes into the huddle when the play call, if you're in the quarterback's ears, listen, ball security here. If it's not there, throw it away. Especially to a quarterback who hasn't played. He hasn't played. Wasn't expected to play. Is he thinking, okay, this is a thing I need to work on? Is that exactly because his adrenaline's pumping? He's driven the team 90 yards, and he's at home with a chance to give his team the lead based on his work. What should have been said was, listen, not there, throw it away. Not there, pull it down, don't fumble, or throw it out of the back of the end zone. The only thing that you cannot do here, there's 2 things. Fumble the ball, throw it to a Maryland defender. The only 2 things. Of all the things exponentially that could go down, take care of the ball, and then take care of the ball. That's not what happened. Breathe in, take a deep breath, We'll come back and we'll talk about that play and what happened from that play when we come back to Locked On Huskers. Breathe with me. Breathe in, exhale. Breathe in, exhale. Again, thank you for hanging out with me on Locked On Huskers. It's 3rd and goal. Maryland 7. 3rd and goal. You have an extra down behind this. You're not down 6. You're not down 7. You're tied. You're tied. And with a defense that held a team to 10 points to that point. For 56 minutes, your defense had held Maryland to 10 points. 2 scores on all the possessions. What you cannot do on 3rd and goal is turn the ball over. And several things happened. Once the decision was made on route, look, corner route against two under routes, right? Which should lead, which one requires that the two of the 3 of the trips actually drag defenders to low space so that there's nobody else in the corner. Everybody else is out of play. Because if they're playing off in man coverage, then you just make the short throw to those receivers. That wasn't done. They were in press. They made a great play. You want to give still credit for making the play because he held man coverage and then fell back into coverage because the one route that is that is under duress and that teams like to use because most teams use that play. Most teams have that route combination in their package. 2 under routes, corner route to that space. Ideally, if Purdy's going to throw this, it's to the corner where only Billy Kemp can catch it or nobody can catch it. If you're going to make this. We will have the discussion on why you're throwing the ball there throughout the rest of the season and probably into the offseason. But if you're going to throw it, it has to be all or nothing. All, which is a touchdown, Kemp with a full advantage to the corner of the end zone. It's a corner route. That's what it is. Or nothing. Throw it to the student section. Throw it to the band. Hit the mascot in the head. Anything other than what was done. Anything other than what was done. Listen, missed opportunities has been the identity and the tendency of this Nebraska football program. It can change. It has to change. For the fan base, for recruiting, for development, for coaching staff to have peace of mind and sleep well at night, it has to change. But we've been saying this for 5 years. Matt Rhule is in game 10. Game 11 is at Camp Randall Saturday night against Wisconsin. Another team whose head coach, Luke Fickell, is not having the best sleep in the last couple of days. Another opportunity for the Huskers. Chance to get right, to make simple adjustments, and to put themselves at peace. It's going to be a long week leading up to Wisconsin and Nebraska. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's going to be that kind of week. I'm DP. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day. Your Huskers every day. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Until tomorrow, we'll close with the 3 words we love so much. Go Big Red.